Welcome back everyone. This is part 1 on what if Naruto was neglected by his family for his siblings. I do not own Naruto or any of the characters in this video. Chapter 1. Konohagakure no Sato. 9 years after the Kyuubi attack. 9 years have passed since that horrible night where the powerful Bijou known as the Kyuubi no Yoko attacked the village of Konoha, destroying it almost completely and killing a big part of its population. It was only thanks to the actions of the Yondaime Hokage, Minato Namikaze, that the beast was defeated. The Yondaime knew that killing a Bijou was almost impossible, so he did the only other thing that could defeat it. He sealed it in the body of a newborn child. The Yondaime, being the person he is, could not bring himself to ask any other family to sacrifice their children, so with a heavy heart, he sealed the Bijou-tailed beast in his newborn triplets. The yin part of its chakra was sealed into his only daughter, Uzumaki Namikaze Mito. Meanwhile, the yang part of the chakra was sealed in the youngest of the newborn triplets, Uzumaki Namikaze Menma. For such an incredible feat, the Yondaime had to use the powerful Shiki Fusion Dead Demon-consuming seal, summoning the Shinigami himself and asking him to split the Kyuubi in exchange for his own soul. Minato was more than ready to give his own life to protect the village he loves, knowing that his wife, Uzumaki Kushina, would have been able to take care of the children even without him, so imagine his surprise when the Shinigami just brushed him off, telling him that for this job, a payment of the soul was not needed. The user of the Hiraisha no Jutsu Flying Thunder God technique was more than happy to be able to live with his family, not knowing of the Shinigami's true intentions. That same day, the Yondaime made the announcement that the village was saved thanks to his two children, Menma and Mito, since they were able to contain the chakra of the mighty beast. Minato told the whole village that his children were heroes and should not be treated as some sort of reincarnated Kyuubi. The village was fast to accept that. They had complete trust in the words of their precious Yondaime, and started calling Menma and Mito the saviors of Konoha. Now, 9 years after that tragedy, this day was not one full of sadness and grief, but one of joy and celebration. After all, not only was there a huge festival in honor of the defeat of the Kyuubi, but it was also the birthdays of the saviors of Konoha. Everywhere around the village people were celebrating, but the true party was at the Namikaze Uzumaki residence, where the young Mito and Menma, now 9 years of age, were having their birthday party. The house of the Namikaze Uzumaki clan was not as big as the other clan houses, but it was big enough to keep all the guests that showed up to the party. These guests were the heads of every important clan of the village along with the next heirs of said clans, and some important people to the family, such as Kakashi Hatake, Hiruzen Saritobi, Jiraiya and Tsunade Senju of the Sannin. The party was going at full blast and everyone was having a good time, but the ones that were most happy were of course Menma and Mito. Menma Uzumaki Namikaze could only be described as a miniature version of Minato, with his spiky blonde hair and blue eyes, although his personality was more like that of his mother, Kushina Uzumaki. After all, it was hard for the boy to not pull a prank at someone when he could. In contrast to him, his sister, Mito Uzumaki Namikaze, is a carbon copy of her mother, with long red hair that reached. To him, his sister, Mito Uzumaki Namikaze, is a carbon copy of her mother, with long red hair that reached to the middle of her back and violet eyes. Although her personality was more like Minato, calm and collected. Alongside the two birthday kids was another little girl. This one looking like she was 6 or 7 years of age. She had red hair just like her sister, with the only difference being that hers was put into twin tails, and she has blue eyes, just like her father. This girl is no other than the 4th child of the Namikaze Uzumaki household, Natsumi Uzumaki Namikaze. The youngest redhead was nothing short of a bundle of joy, always having fun with her family and with a smile on her face all the time. Yes, if someone were to look at this scene they would think that they are the perfect family, but of course nothing is perfect. After all, nobody noticed that the 3rd birthday boy was nowhere near the house. Meanwhile, on the Hokage monument while everyone else was having a great time, one small child had nothing but sadness and pain in his heart. This small kid had blonde spiky hair and sky blue eyes, with 3 whisker marks on each cheek, giving him a unique look. The blonde was wearing a black shirt with the symbol of his clan on the back, a red spiral, and white shorts. This boy was none other than the 3rd Uzumaki Namikaze child, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. You might be asking why someone like him is here alone, and with so much sadness in his heart. Well, the answer to that is simple. Once again, Just like every year, his family has forgotten about him, celebrating the birthday of his brother and sister but not his. Why? Why does this keep happening? Why did my family forget about my birthday again? Why do they never notice me? Do they hate me? Were the thoughts that the young blonde was having in his mind right now, some tears falling from his eyes just from thinking of his family hating him. Since he could remember, his family always treated him differently. While his brother and sister were always praised with almost anything they did by their parents, he barely got them to acknowledge him. They always ignore him, and while Menma and Mito had already started their ninja training, he has not, and every time he asked for it, he would get the same answer from each of his parents. We must focus on training your sibling and controlling the QB's chakra, so we can't teach you. When his little sister was born, he thought that he would finally have someone that would treat him like family, but sadly that did not happen. After all, Natsumi was able to use the Uzumaki chakra chains, something that only his mother could do, so his parents decided to start her training sooner, and now he was the only one that was excluded from the family training time. It was not only his mother and father that ignored him, his siblings were even worse. Menma was always a brat to him, telling him how weak he was and that his parents loved him more. His sister Mito would always be cold towards him. She started being like that 2 years ago, and now she barely speaks to him, and when she does, it is only just a few words. His little sister, Natsumi, was more annoying than anything, always bragging to him about every cool thing that she learned with their mother or father and acting like a spoiled child. It was not only his family that had forgotten him, but the village as a whole has forgotten that he was too a part of that family. Some of the more stupid villagers treated him like he was the QB reincarnated because of his whisker marks. Naruto was so focused in the thought in his thoughts about his family that he did not register the sounds of someone walking towards him until said someone spoke to him in a soft but firm voice. "What are you doing here, young one?" spoke the person, making Naruto jump in surprise. In his mind, but when he did, he answered with a voice full of sadness, "Organization 13 coat. I have nowhere else to be." Naruto did not know why he was answering, but he just felt that this weird-looking man was not going to harm him. Unlike some of the villagers that sometimes hit him. "Don't you have a family that's waiting for you? You shouldn't be out here this late," asked the man softly, his eyes focused on the child and nothing else. Of course, he already knew the answer, having watched the boy interact with his family for a while. But he wanted to kid himself to respond, just to see exactly how much pain he had in his heart. "I do have a family, but they don't care about me. They never have. They even forget about my birthday every year. No one cares about me," said Naruto, his voice full of hurt and his eyes had some tears, showing the man that he was right. The pain caused by his family was too much for the young kid and the village as well. Now it was his time to act. "I see. No one should have to live like that, especially a child like you," said the man before putting his hand on the boy's head, making said kid look at him with a face now with more surprise than sadness. But before Naruto could ask him anything, the man spoke again. "Tell me, Naruto-kun," said Blonde was even more surprised about this man actually knowing him. "Would you like to change your life?" asked the man softly, his white eyes looking directly into Naruto's blue ones. Naruto felt like this man was staring directly into his soul. "What are you talking about?" asked Naruto, his voice full of doubt. But for some reason he found himself not afraid of this man, like he knew that this man was not going to harm him in any way. "I'm asking you if you would like to change, Naruto-kun. Would you like to be strong enough to never feel so weak in your life? Would you like to have someone that would care for you so that you would never have to be alone? Someone who can show you others who suffer the same, Naruto-kun?" These words made Naruto look at the man like he was insane, but you could still see a little glint of hope in those blue eyes. "I can change like that?" asked Naruto, looking at the cloaked man like he has all the answers in the world. "Of course you can, Naruto-kun. Change is always happening, but that path is never easy. I'm asking you again, Naruto-kun, do you want to stay like this, being treated like nothing from your family and like a monster by this village? Or would you like to become something more, much more?" asked the man, knowing that the next word that the young blonde would say will be crucial. Meanwhile, Naruto's mind was racing. This man right here was offering him a chance to never feel so weak and alone again, while a part of him was telling him that you can't trust in someone you barely know and that if he stayed with his family then they would change. Another bigger part wanted nothing more but to accept this man's offer. So it was with that mentality that the young Uzumaki Namikaze answered, I want to change. I want to show my family that I can be strong too, that I'm not useless. I want to prove myself that I can become someone, spoke Naruto, his voice overflowing with conviction, causing the man to get a little smile and nod before his face returned to his neutral look, fast enough that Naruto was not able to see it. Very well. Then from now on I'll teach you everything I know, but it's only up to you if you learn it, spoke the man, just before crouching and putting a hand on the floor. Come, there are others I want you to meet, the man said. Naruto looked at him weirdly, but he was too happy to finally have someone that would teach him how to be strong to really care. But one thought stopped him right in his tracks. Wait, sensei? I don't know your name, said Naruto, just remembering now that his new sensei never introduced himself. The man in the coat stopped for a second and chuckled. Sorry, how rude of me to not introduce myself. But Naruto-kun, you may call me, the man said as a strange black hole opened up in front of them. Naruto would have freaked out, but he was too surprised for that. After all, he had never heard of any jutsu like this. But his attention the man just before he muttered the name that would always stay in his memory. Urato Otsutsuki. And with that they walked through the black hole. End of chapter 1. Sorry about this. Normally my videos would be 20 minutes long, but chapter 1 is a short chapter. Don't worry, the next part would be longer than this. But, only downside, I can only do one chapter. Go to chapter 2 and you will see what I mean. Link down to the comments if you want to read the rest of the story. I hope you all enjoy. Goodbye.